wal-Marjan. شرح صحيح مسلم. wal-Marjan. English. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome all the viewers and all the Hadith disciples. Tonight's lesson, by Allah's permission, is going to be in Kitab As-Salah from wal-Marjan فيما اتفق عليه الشيخان. I believe the last hadith that we were explaining was the hadith of Abdullah ibn Zayd ibn Abdi Rabbihi, even though it isn't collected in Bukhari and Muslim, regarding the dream that he saw, and the Prophet ﷺ ordering and commanding him to teach it to Bilal ibn Rabah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu with regards to the legislation of the adhan, and one of the final steps of its evolution, and doing away with any ideas or thoughts of a drum, of a bell, of a fire, of a horn. Khairan inshaAllah ta'ala. Then we also read hadith number 214 under chapter 2, which is regarding something which is called Shaf' al-Adhan wa Itar al-Iqama. To pronounce the adhan in pairs of two, and to single out the Iqama. Naam. Khairan inshaAllah ta'ala. طيب. النووي رحمه الله تعالى, he said, واختلف العلماء رضي الله عنهم في لفظ الإقامة، فالمشهور من مذهبنا الذي تظاهرت عليه نصوص الشافعي رضي الله عنه وبه قال أحمد وجمهور العلماء أن الإقامة 11 كلمة: الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمد رسول الله، حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة، الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. وقال مالك رحمه الله المشهور عنه، سقطت كلمة فيه، في المشهور عنه هي 10 كلمات، فلم يثني لفظ الإقامة وقول قديم للشافعي، ولنا قول شاذ أنه يقول في الأول الله أكبر مرة وفي الآخر الله أكبر، ويقول قد قامت الصلاة مرة، فتكون 8 كلمات والصواب الأول. وقال أبو حنيفة الإقامة 17 كلمة فيثنيها كلها، وهذا المذهب الشاذ. قال الخطابي مذهب جمهور العلماء والذي جرى به العمل في الحرمين والحجاز والشام واليمن ومصر والمغرب إلى أقصى بلاد الإسلام أن الإقامة فرادا. قال الإمام أبو سليمان الخطابي رحمه الله تعالى مذهب عامة العلماء أنه يكرر قوله قد قامت الصلاة إلا مالكا، فإن المشهور عنه أنه لا يكررها والله أعلم. والحكمة في إفراد الإقامة وتثنية الأذان أن الأذان لإعلام الغائبين فيكرر ليكون أبلغ في إعلامهم، والإقامة للحاضرين فلا حاجة إلى تكرارها. ولهذا قال العلماء يكون رفع الصوت في الإقامة دونه في الأذان، وإنما كرر لفظ الإقامة خاصة لأنه مقصود الإقامة والله أعلم. فإن قيل قد قلتم أننا مختار الذي عليه الجمهور أن الإقامة 11 كلمة منها الله أكبر الله أكبر أولا وآخرا وهذا تثنية، فالجواب أن هذا وإن كان سورة تثنية فهو بالنسبة إلى الأذان إفراد. ولهذا قال أصحابنا يستحب للمؤذن أن يقول كل تكبيرتين بنفس واحد، فيقول في أول الأذان الله أكبر لنفس واحد، ثم يقول الله أكبر لنفس آخر والله أعلم. Now I know we're starting to break down the concept of single and double, even and odd, by saying the ulama of Islam, they differ on the exact wording of the iqamah. The scholars of Islam, the traditional schools of thought, they differ on What is the way that the iqamah should be made? How many sentences? How many what? Sentences. How many words? Word, sentence, kalima, interchangeable. Obviously it's a sentence. قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ Allahu Akbar, hayya ala salah. That's not one word, that's actual sentence. So oftentimes it's wrong to translate the word kalima as a word. A sentence here. So therefore he said the ulama of Islam, the scholars of Islam, they differ on the correct way of making the iqamah. He says, as far as the view of our school, Imam Nawawi is a Shafi'i, and he says the view of our school, the view of our leader, a Shafi'i, and most of the ulama, the statement of Imam Ahmad, and most of the ulama of Islam, that the iqamah consists of 11 statements. 11 sentences. Just 11, he says. Ihda ashra. 11. And that is when you say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala al-falah. Qad qamat al-salah. Qad qamat al-salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. How many was that?
11.
That was 11. Count. Start from the beginning. That's once or twice?
Twice.
Number 3. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Number 4. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Number 5. Hayya ala salah. 6. 7. 8. How many statements? 11. طيب. So he says that's the view of most of the scholars of Islam, is that it's only 11 pieces. Naam. He then says, Imam Malik rahimahullah, he said, fil mashhuri anhu, in other words, he said different things, but the well-known view of Malik that most of his disciples took from him is that the iqamah only consists of 10 statements. 10 and not 11. He says 10. He says here, or before we go that far, he says what? He says 10 statements. And the word or the statement, قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, is only to be made what? Once. So he says that the Maliki view, which is well known, the mashhur, the well-known opinion of Malik, is that it's Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala al-falah, Qad qamat as-salah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Everybody clear on this? Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he then says, وَهُوَ قَوْلٌ قَدِيمٌ لِلشَّافِعِي. And that's the old view of Imam Shafi'i. That's the view of Imam Shafi'i before he changed his madhab. Everybody clear on this? He then says, وَلَنَا قَوْلٌ شَاذٌ. And it's another view that's even stranger than that, and that is that you only say Allahu Akbar once in the beginning. Khayr inshallah. And you only say Allahu Akbar once in the end. Everybody understand this? Right. Which would be how many statements?
8. 9. 8.
9. It'd be 8. Going off of the previous madhab. And another person could understand it to mean 9. Then he then says here, فَتَكُونَ ثَمَانْ كَلِمَاتٍ. 8. As you mentioned, Abu Bakr, that's the closest ihtimal. He then says, as far as Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, then he held the view that the iqamah is 17 sentences. 17 sentences. And that is to do what? Double up everything. Just like the adhan. Just like the what? The adhan. Everybody understand this? That's the view of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Now listen carefully to what Nawawi says. Listen to this. He says, وَهَذَا الْمَذْهَبُ شَاذٌ. He says, and this madhab is shadh. It's totally weird and peculiar. Strange. No strength in it whatsoever. Right. It's no problem the ulama differing. But would Nawawi say that about Ahmad's view or Shafi'i's view? Would he call it shadh like that? Would he just label it shadh? Everybody understand this? He says that this view is what? Shadh. This is not right. This is totally strange and it's going against the rest of the ulama without no real strong reason. That's what's meant by the word shadh. Ash-shudud an ulama. Everybody understand this? Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, Al-Khattabi said, Khattabi died not 100, but a few hundred years before Nawawi, about like more than 300 years before him. He says, the madhab of most, he's listening, he says, Jumhur al-ulama, most of the ulama, he says, and that which was practiced in Mecca and Medina, that which is practiced in Hijaz, Arabia, that which is practiced in Sham, Syria, that which is practiced in Yemen, Egypt, North Africa, he says, ila aqsa bilad al-Islam, all the way to Portugal, Andalusia, the furthest tip of the Muslim state. He says is that the iqamah is to be single and not to be double. So he's also saying, blasting that view of what? Of Abu Hanifa. It's totally against all of the Muslim countries and all of the Muslim ulama. He then says, that's madhabu ammatul ulama. He says that's the view of all of the ulama. Ammatuhum, 99% of them. He then says, أَنُ يُكَرِّرُ قَوْلُهُمْ قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ إِلَّا مَالِكًا. And then he goes on to say that Imam Malik's view is only to say قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ once. And he doesn't accept that as well. Khairan inshaAllah. So Nawawi rahimahullah here, he doesn't discuss the dalil of Abu Hanifa. He doesn't discuss the evidence. Does he have evidence from the text, from the nusus, hadith, whether it's authentic or not, but does he have some type of text? Or is it based off of ra'i? Is it based off of an opinion? An opinionated issue. Tayyib, that has to be discussed in a different class. He says the wisdom, Abu Sa'id, behind making the iqamah in single notes, quote unquote, and the adhan in double. He says the wisdom behind this is that the adhan is to call people who are not yet present. It's to call people who aren't yet present, people that are far away, in their homes, in their shops, in their businesses, sleeping, for them to hear it, for it to be what? Emphasized. To place emphasis on it, to call them, to get them to be awake, to come. He says, as far as the iqamah is made for the people that are what? Already here in the masjid. He says, so there's no need to repeat it. And that's why some of the ulama said, when the adhan is made, the voice should be louder. The voice should be far louder than it is than during the iqamah. The iqamah, the voice shouldn't be what? But so loud. Everybody understand this? The voice shows as what? As loud. He says here, and they also say that it's recommended, some of the Shafi'i ulama, he says, قال أصحابنا, that the mu'adhin should make the pairs of the adhan with one voice, one breath. He should say, Allahu Akbar, without taking a pause. Not mandatory, not a stipulation, a prerequisite of the adhan, but yustahab, they say. Everybody understand this? That way it's actually in what? Pairs. Everybody understand this? It's name. Tathniya. So he says that when the mu'adhin makes the adhan, he should say Allahu Akbar, like that. One what? One breath, one sentence, no pause. As far as the iqamah, then that's a different story. Or between the takbiratain. Khairan inshaAllah ta'ala. Now, there are several different issues that pertain to this, such as, what's the ruling on making the adhan with a microphone? Is it permissible to make the adhan with a microphone? And is it from the sunnah? Is it recommended to make the adhan with a microphone? Now, obviously, most people are going to say, of course, ya akhi, why even ask such a stupid question? But there are many fiqh rulings that pertain to using the microphone, such as being inside of the masjid and not outside of the masjid or on top of the masjid, such as certain people hearing the adhan from a further distance, which are not necessarily required to go to the masjid. And what's meant by hal tasma'u nida bis-salah is the natural nida, the nida that doesn't come from man-made means. Because if you say if it's based off of the microphone, then obviously it's going to be what? Very long. Some microphones go really far. Everybody clear on this? Not to say that it's a bad thing and that people shouldn't hear the dhikr of Allah and they shouldn't come to the masjid when they have cars. Allah has made things easy. Allah has allowed you to have an automobile that you can easily start up and drive. You see what I'm saying to you? Any type of weather, the condition, you can drive to the masjid just like you can drive to get a coffee or iced coffee. You can drive to the store. You can drive to go buy your favorite snack. Yeah? You can drive to go do this and drive to go do that. Why can't you drive to the masjid? And it's a means of reminding the people. But one may say is that somebody now feels bound to come to the masjid, which is normally what? Not bound. Because what's meant by the nida, as the ulama of Islam say, is the natural voice, without the man-made means of static and disturbance. Everybody stop for a second, just listen. Hear that buzz? That buzz? Do you know how quiet things will be if that buzz stops? You ever been in a blackout, Osama? It's extremely quiet because there's no what? Buzzing. So just imagine you live in a place, New York City, how much buzzing is there? Buildings, cars, trains, cell phones, satellites, everything is buzzing. And that's why it's so quiet when there's a what? A blackout. And the normal voice will travel in its normal distance. Obviously, that's relative and subjective. Some mu'adhin's voices are louder than others, but in the middle. Everybody understand this? So the people who ask the question about going to the masjid, do I have to go to the masjid? Is my husband required to go to the masjid in the morning? So on and so forth. We say, the people of knowledge, they say, the ulama, they say, is that you're required to go to the masjid if you live in the radius in which you would normally hear the mu'adhin in his natural, organic voice without sirens. That's another issue, because a person can make the natural adhan and not be heard because of the sirens or because of the train. But this is a blackout. There's a what? A total blackout. There's no type of noise like this. And the mu'adhin is on the roof of the masjid. He's high above, or the minaret or not. That's another issue. He's outside and his voice carries naturally. 3 blocks, 4 blocks, wahakadha. Everybody understand this? Anyone outside of that radius is not necessarily required to go to the masjid, but it's recommended for him to go. Highly recommended. Getting a reward, the rewards, the sins removed from him, being with his Muslim brothers, learning, sitting, benefiting, being far from the people of nifaq, unless he has an excuse such as sickness, such as illness, such as a person sleeping, not sleeping with the intention to miss the salah, but they just honestly were overcome by sleep. Or sleeping problems. A person has, for example, sleep disorder at night or in the daytime. Everybody understand this? Things like this. Or an excuse in which a person's property and wealth is going to be destroyed. As some of the ulama of Islam explain. A baker, if he has bread in the oven and he goes to the masjid and he comes back and the bread will be burnt, it's permissible for him to leave off the jama'ah in that instant. And that what? In that instance, not every single time. Everybody understand this? So that's the dabit for wujub al-jama'ah, wujub hudur al-jama'ah. That's the dabit there. Then we have other issues, Khalid, such as, first and foremost, is it mandatory to pray in the masjid according to the ulama? And the correct view is that it is mandatory for capable, healthy, strong-bodied men to pray in the masjid. That's the qawl al-rajih al-sahih. That is proven by the dalil in the kitab and in the sunnah. Allah commanded the Prophet ﷺ to establish the jama'ah in times of jihad, in times of fear, in times of fighting. What's the purpose of fighting, of making salat al-jama'ah in times of jihad if it's only recommended? If it's only recommended, pray by yourselves. It's easier, it's simpler. And Allah Azza wa Jalla allowed the people to do certain actions that they normally couldn't do in the salat, such as moving, facing other than the qibla, carrying weapons, one group with the imam, salat al-khawf and surah al-nisa. Why would this be legislated if the jama'ah was just what? Recommended. Pray by yourselves and make the normal salat. Proving the importance of the jama'ah, and then it's necessary and then it's mandatory. And the Prophet ﷺ was too merciful and too kind to think about burning down someone's house just for leaving off something that was what? Recommended. Everybody understand this? But that's not what all of the ulama say. Some of them say that it's fard kifaya, that it's something that's an obligation upon the community as a whole. Somebody has to do it. And there's no way that the masjid can be totally empty and void of people. And others, some ulama, even weaker than that, they say that it's sunnah. Just totally recommended. You don't have to go at all. Obviously, that statement is going to lead to major problems in the religion of the Muslims, especially today, in which we're barely doing what we're supposed to be doing. So now we're saying you don't have to come to the masjid. That opens up the door for more laziness, more lethargy, more eating, more drinking, more sleeping, more business, more so on and so forth. But when we say it's fard, it's pushing you to aim for a 10 and you may get an 8. Now, to aim for the bullseye, you may get a what? A 7.5. Everybody clear on this? Khairan inshallah. Tayyib. Another concept is it mandatory to make the jama'ah in the masjid, or can a jama'ah be established where you are? Can you make a jama'ah where you are? In other words, you live in a house, you have 5 sons, you have a wife, you have 3 daughters, and your grandfather, they all live in one house. That's more than enough for what? A jama'ah towards the Jama'ah, as mentioned in the Athar, khayran inshallah, or must the Jama'ah must be established in the what? House of Allah. These are all issues of discussion among the people of knowledge. And they all pertain to the concept of the what? Of the adhan. Of the adhan and the iqamah. Everybody understand this? Is it permissible, or is it from the sunnah to make the iqamah on the loudspeaker? Is that from the sunnah, or should the iqamah only be done for the people that are in the masjid? Everybody understand this? Khayran inshallah ta'ala. These are all different issues, food for thought. Let's move forward inshallah. Next hadith, the author rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, باب القول مثل قول المؤذن لمن سمعه ثم يصلي على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم يسأل له أو ثم يسأله له الوسيلة ثم يسأل له الوسيلة ثم يسأل له الوسيلة. Chapter 7 says, this is strange and interesting. Look how the book jumps from chapter 2 to chapter 7. Everybody understand this? And the reason why is because of the headings were taken from Sahih Muslim. Everybody understand this? And all of the what? Ahadith in Sahih Muslim and wal-Marjan do not match and meet up. Everybody understand this? There are hadith in Sahih Muslim that are what? Not inside of Sahih Bukhari. So it's not going to be wal-Marjan. So where is the footnote here? Where is the... It just leaves you blind. Chapter 2, and then it goes and jumps directly to what? Chapter 7. This is right here. That's a problem. There's a huge problem. It's not a small... That's like, you're like, what? You know, what's going on? Tayyib, khair inshallah. It's what it is. It is what it is. And as we've explained before, the student who's seeking perfection, he has to blend and marry and merge between all of the different sciences, the different styles, the different schools. You have to study hadith, you have to study fiqh. You have to study fiqh, you have to study hadith. You study a madhab, you study comparative fiqh. You study Sahih Bukhari, you'll study Musnad Imam Ahmad. You study Muwatta, you study Tirmidhi. Because there are pieces that need to be what? Filled in. Every single hadith on every fiqh issue cannot be found in Bukhari and Muslim. So you're going to need to what? Fill in. It's like the skeleton. The solid structure is there, but is much more needed for the human being to exist besides bones. You need flesh, blood, veins, arteries, nerves, layers of skin, right? Saw that, not just one layer, what? Multiple layers of skin. Wahakadha. Everybody clear with this? Khairan inshallah. So therefore, every hadith on every single issue cannot be found what? In the Sahihain. Also, as we said before, when it comes to the questions that we get about what book should I study, what book should I begin with? Should I do Umdat al-Ahkam or should I do Bulugh al-Maram? Umdat al-Ahkam is shorter, simpler, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easier. Bulugh al-Maram is bigger, maybe 3 times bigger, but it's easier because it's laid out. And there's a hadith for every single main fiqhi point. But that's not the case of the hadith that just from what? Bukhari and Muslim. Everybody understand this? wal-Marjan is what? Is easier because it gives you the complete tartib. Everybody understand this? So if we were studying Bulugh Maram here, we would have the hadiths talking about the virtue of the adhan, how to make the adhan, the mu'adhins of the Prophet ﷺ, the adhan for Fajr, the adhan kada, kullu shay will be what? Laid out, whether it's from Bukhari and Muslim or Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, or whatever the case may be. Everybody understand this? So smaller is not always what? Better. Smaller is not always easier. Now, there's more than one way of looking at it. You can say tomato, you can say tomato. One may say a person is a beginning student of knowledge. Easier is better, simpler. One may say easier is to do it the right way in the beginning. What's the point of eating something, then throwing it up and regurgitating it later on? And most of the hadiths in al-Hakam are going to be in Bulugh al-Maram. Everybody understand? It's not necessarily all, but what? Most, not some. Most, because they are usul al-bab, yani, the foundations of the rulings. Khairan inshallah. That's another discussion. What's important is that if you want everything, if you want the thorough benefit, you have to cover your ground. And you can't just study one thing and suffice yourself with it. Everybody understand this? Khairan inshallah. And fiqh, studying fiqh helps you in your study of hadith. And the study of hadith helps you in the study of fiqh. Everybody understand this? Khairan inshallah ta'ala. Chapter 7 says, He who hears the adhan should say as the mu'adhin is saying. Then ask Allah for salah. It says Allah's blessings upon the Prophet ﷺ. And then ask Allah to grant him, the Prophet ﷺ, al-wasila, the right of intercession on the day of resurrection. حديث أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا سمعتم النداء فقولوا مثل ما يقول المؤذن. Hadith 215. Narrate Abu Sa'id al-Khudri رضي الله عنه, Allah's Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم said, whenever you hear the adhan, say just as the mu'adhin is saying. Say just as the mu'adhin is saying. And where does it say here, ask Allah for the wasila? It does not say here in the translation. The chapter heading is once again is inconsistent with the what? The hadith. Leaving the English reader stuck. Everybody on this? That's another problem. And as we said before, over maybe 2 years ago, many of these books that were done, that were translated, may Allah reward the brothers and sisters and the companies who did, they need to be what? Done again. They need to be revamped. And the translations, the style of the translation, the inconsistency, the incompleteness of it is totally outdated. It's expired. The shelf life is done. It needs to be done again. The English style, the things that are missing, the mistakes, the errors that we've found many. And we haven't been searching and looking for these. It's just reading through this. Everybody understand this? And there's no disrespect to the early translators. There's no disrespect to Dar Salam. No. But it's more respect for the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And more respect for the people and them benefiting and having the ability to get a fair, equal opportunity of learning. Just like it's available in the Arabic sources. Khairan inshaAllah ta'ala. So therefore the hadith does not state or doesn't say anything about asking Allah to give the Prophet ﷺ the wasila. Nor does it say sending prayers upon the Prophet ﷺ. Is that the end of this hadith? Is that the complete version of this hadith? How do I know if I'm a layman 9 to 5 reader? Everybody clear on this? The hadith says when you hear the mu'adhin make the adhan, then do what? Repeat after him. Say what he says. What about sending prayers on the Prophet? And what about asking Allah to give the Messenger of Allah the thing which is called what? Al-wasila. ثُمَّ سَلَ اللَّهَ لِلْوَسِيلَةِ. طيب, khairan inshallah. So let's deal with what we have here before us, before we go that far. This hadith teaches us what? It shows us is that it's mandatory. It's wajib to repeat after the mu'adhin. Mandatory. Whereas it says فَقُولُوا وَهَذَا فِعْلُ أَمْرٍ وَالْأَمْرُ يَقْتَضِي الْوُجُوبِ. It says here, say what the mu'adhin is saying. So this hadith is used by those ulama who say that you what? Must repeat after the mu'adhin. Everybody understand this? The hadith also doesn't specify between men and women. It doesn't make a difference between a man or a woman. Nor does it make a difference between those who are in the masjid, those who aren't in the masjid. Those who what? Who hear the adhan. Another question is in 2017 is my app. My Galaxy. My iPhone. When it goes off, do I repeat after the electronic app? Everybody understand this? Do I do what? Repeat after the what? Electronic app or not? What do you think, Abu Tawheed? It's not a mu'adhin, so you don't have to repeat after him. Tayyib. Okay. Anybody else?
Whatever's on the phone, if the person's not actually in the mosque, not present.
Tayyib. Abdul Qadir. Anybody else?
I think you should.
You think you should?
Yeah.
Tayyib. Anybody else?
I think you should.
You should or you have to?
You have to.
Because it's the mu'adhin. It's an adhan. Tayyib. Khair inshallah. Abu Bakr. What you think, Nafis?
It's not obligatory.
It's not obligatory. What's not obligatory? The phone or the repeat after the mu'adhin from the beginning?
After the phone.
After the phone. Why not?
It's not a real person. It's not a mother.
It's not a real person, okay? Does the hadith say a real person or a human?
Mother.
It says repeat after the
Hey, listen to what the mu'adhin says and repeat. Tayyib. Khair inshallah. There's something which will gather it all together, huh? And that is what? What's meant by the word al-mu'adhin with the alif and the lam? The mu'adhin. What type of alif and lam is that? Definite article. Right. Without doubt, it's a definite article, but in Arabic there are different types. There's al for ahd, for dhihn, for istighraq, al-jins, the ta'rif. There's different types of alif and lam. There's different types. If I say to you, kayf al-akh, how's the brother? That means what? What does that mean?
He's near.
No way.
How is the brother?
No, what does that mean?
You're probably asking about it.
I'm asking about you. I'm asking about you. Kayf al-akh? Huh? Kayf al-hal? How's the situation? Meaning, kayf haluka? The alif and the lam is used for a specific tense. Is it for something that's present? Or for something that's known? Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. That's a long discussion in Nahu, in the Arabic language, but very important tool for the student to understand. طيب, khairan inshallah. That's some food for thought, inshallah. You guys can think about that, huh? Let that rest upon your minds. Khairan inshallah. I know what he says about this hadith. Now, all right, the next question is, what about when the mu'adhin says, hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah? Do you say what he says? Or do you say something else? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So that's going against what the Prophet said. Repeat after him. Not necessarily. Tayyib. Meaning?
You gotta take all the hadiths pertaining to that subject.
Not just one and abandon others. In other words, this is general, but inside of its generality is some type of exception. Tayyib. MashaAllah. Jayyid. Fiqh sunnah. Tayyib. Tabarakallah. Okay. All right. So, is it obligatory to repeat after the mu'adhin or not? Not a phone, but actual mu'adhin. It is obligatory. So, according to this hadith. MashaAllah. Perhaps, huh? Tayyib. Khair inshallah. What will make it not obligatory? Another hadith which does what? Abridges it, abrogates it. Tayyib. Khair inshallah. Next question is, which we want to get into, is it recommended or obligatory for someone who doesn't have wudu to repeat after the mu'adhin? Or only for those that are in a pure state? Doesn't specify. Tayyib. Khairan inshallah. No way he says, قوله في حديث أبي سعيد صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا سمعتم النداء فقولوا مثل ما يقول المؤذن عام مخصوص لحديث عمر أنه يقول في الحي آلتين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وفيه استحباب الصلاة على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بعد فراغه من متابعة المؤذن واستحباب سؤال الوسيلة له وفيه أنه يستحب أن يقول السامع كل كلمة بعد فراغ المؤذن منها ولا ينتظر فراغه من كل الأذان وفيه أنه يستحب أن يقول بعد قولي وأن أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أو أنا أشهد أن محمد رسول الله رضيت بالله ربا وبمحمد رسوله بالإسلام دينا وفيه أنه يستحب لمن رغب أو رغب غيره في خير أن يذكر طيب خير إن شاء الله. Move forward. He says here, this hadith teaches us that it's recommended to send prayers upon the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam after a person finishes following the mu'adhin. It also shows us that it's recommended to ask Allah to give the Prophet ﷺ that which is called al-wasila. And what's meant by this word al-wasila? A high station in paradise. Tayyib. What does the word wasila linguistically mean? Intercession. Intercede. Tayyib. What does it mean? The bare, stripped down meaning of the word wasila. And what does it pertain to? Of aqidah today. Asking for help. Asking for on someone else's behalf. Asking someone to pray for you. Not intercede. Sorry, which one? Intercede or pray? Intercession is going to be in hereafter. The big intercession. There's worldly intercession in this life. Can you please accept Fulan into your university? He's too old. No. And then his cousin comes and he intercedes. I know his father. They're a very good family. When I went to America to study medicine, they taught me English. They protected me. Please accept his son from Detroit in Medina. He interceded. Shafa'a lahu. Everybody understand this? He was against the rules, but he interceded for him. Or the ruler. Someone is supposed to get the criminal punishment put upon him. And one reason or another, before the necessary time, he intercedes. Mathalan. Before it reaches the hakim. Mathalan. Something like this. That's detail with regards to that. Al-Muhim Shafa'a is to intercede for someone. To put in a what? A good word for someone. In between. A hookup. Connection. A network. I know people, he says, right? I know people in high places. Can you put in a good word for me to get me the job? Huh? Tayyib? But is that what's meant here, wasila? To ask someone to do something on your behalf is a bit different. Like say, pray for me. Please make dua for my wife. Is that shafa'a or is that called something else? Mediator. Tayyib. It's close. What else? What word is it called? Inshallah, we'll see what you guys bring tomorrow. Bid'inai ta'ala. Khairan, inshallah. We're going to stop here tonight. Bid'inai and wal-Marjan. And tomorrow we'll finish. Jazakumullah khairan. Let's see if we have time. If we have time to take a few questions. Wallahu alam. What time is the adhan, Khalid?
It's 9:55.
That's the adhan or the iqama?
I have no idea. The print of 10 was on the
Which one, Sheikh?
I see 9:55 that's 9:55.
Okay. Fadl. Bismillah. And the iqama at 10?
25.
Fadl. Abu Nail, Fadl. Fadl Abu Sa'id.
An issue regarding praying in the masjid, men being wajib. If it wasn't wajib for the men to pray in the masjid, what would we say about the hadith of Hurairah of the seven that's going to get around shade, the day is not going to be in shade? And it's that man whose heart is connected to the masjid, he makes the salat in the masjid.
طيب Jazakallah khairan. A fa'idah with regards to the masjid and praying in the masjid and being mandatory to pray in the masjid. Hadith of Abu Hurairah, the 7 types of people that will receive Allah's shade on the day in which there is no shade except for His. And from them is the man, he says, وَرَجُلٌ قَلْبُهُ مُعَلَّقٌ بِالْمَسَاجِدِ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. The man whose heart, is the hadiths in the Sahihain, whose heart is attached to the masjid. Clearly proving the virtue of praying in the masjid, does not necessarily state or prove that it's mandatory. لا دلالة فيه على هذا. Doesn't prove that it's mandatory, but it proves that it's highly what? Virtuous. And obviously, because you believe that it's mandatory and you keep going, and you're going, that's how your heart obviously becomes. No doubt about that. Jazakallah khairan. Fadl.
The question is, should you repeat after the mu'adhan if you hear the adhan on the iPhone or Galaxy?
Right, that answer is up to you guys. You guys got to figure that out. I plant the seed in your minds. You got to water it and give it sunlight. Right? Abu Toyid, chia pets, right? Remember those? You got to water it. Aywa. On the head, Naam. Fadl. Any other questions? Or if not, we'll stop. Fadl.
Sometimes we may walk into the masjid and we might not hear the adhan. So the dua between the adhan and the iqamah, do you have to hear the adhan? Because
What dua are you talking about?
the dua that is acceptable is between the adhan and the iqamah. So do you have to hear the adhan?
No, the hadith doesn't state that. Pray between the adhan and the iqamah, inshallah. Fadl.
Jim,
Fadl.
one question.
Bismillah.
Yeah. Let's say that
someone is driving, like I'm driving and passing by a mosque, and they have this mic, and Azan is calling. So I'm driving, and I have to stop and go in and pray, or I'm passing.
Clear. Are you driving to another masjid?
No, I'm driving, and I'm working. I say I'm working. I have to go catch the plane at the airport.
Clear. No, you keep driving, inshallah.
Okay.
You keep driving. You have an excuse in that situation. But then if it's something pressing that you have to do, you have to get to. As far as if you're driving to a place and it's time to pray, you're in that zone, you stop.
Question from online. Initials ZU, Birmingham, UK. Do we go back to standing position from ruku only when Imam has finished saying the tasmih, or when the Imam starts to say it?
It says, do we go back to standing position?
Let's say the Imam says Sami Allah.
Only min hamida.
Do you
Okay.
have to wait for him to say it completely before you start moving?
Tay. The Imam is in ruku', right? He comes out of ruku'. Sami Allahu liman hamida. The moment that he says Sami Allahu, he's going to be moving. He's going to be up. He's going to be fully erect. He's going to be fully up, fully standing. So by the time he says Sami Allahu liman, you should what? Be moving. Not before, not at the same exact time, but Sami Allahu. Everybody understand this? Because he's going to end up, it's going to move really quick. And if you wait too long, he comes out, Sami Allahu liman hamida. You have to come out of ruku', then say Allahumma rabbana lakal hamd, which is going to be some type of delay. And you shouldn't be, your action should not be delayed behind the Imam. A ta'khir, it shouldn't be like that. It should be mutaba'ah, not muwafaqa, and not what? A ta'akhur an Imam, wa inama mutaba'ah. Wallahu alam. Abu Tawheed.
You come into the masjid and you're going to pray Tahiyyatul Masjid. The Imam starts calling for the Salah, the point Salah. How do you come out of your Salah and finish? Or do you finish, and if you come out, how do you come out?
Clear. If you made the takbir, you start praying, then it's best, inshallah ta'ala, and safest to come out of the prayer. And inshallah ta'ala, some people they say that it's permissible to make one taslima in the nafil prayer. And the recommended acts of prayer, the recommended prayer, the subrogatory prayer, it's permissible to make one salutation on the right. Some ulama say even in the fard, but the correct view is that it's only for the night prayer. So therefore they say that it's like a combination of things here. One, la salata illa al-maktuba. You're not supposed to pray except for the fard prayer. Secondly, the prayer that you're making, they consider the tahiyyatul masjid to be sunnah. So that gives us the equation, the sum of you're making recommended prayer. It's time to make the fard prayer. So get out of that recommended prayer what? In the quickest, fastest way possible, which is one taslima. Everybody understand this? You got the fiqh. It's mathematics. Khalid, you understand? The one thing each, you got it?
So the fard would be two.
Yeah. The fard is 2 taslim. Everybody understand this? Everybody clear this? So bidhnillahi ta'ala, if you have the opportunity to make the taslim, inshallah, at least one. Yeah, at least one. Wallahu alam.
Sheikh, if you're praying the Fard Salah in the masjid, and let's say you're traveling or you're making up a Salah, and you're in the masjid, let's say you're praying the Dhuhr, and it's Asr time,
Okay.
you're making the Dhuhr, and they make the Iqamah, what should you do in your Salah?
Clear. Well, and with regards to you, that's maktuba. You're making up something that's maktuba. It's not recommended. Okay, it's not what? It's not recommended, all right? And or even if it is maktuba, it's not al-maktuba. Allati qad uqimat. So therefore, bidhnillahi ta'ala, it depends on how much salah you have left. Are you going to catch the first rak'ah? Are you going to catch the imam before he makes ruku', or you're going to miss it? And you can always make up the dhuhr, or make the asr with the intention of what? Dhuhr, wa hakadha. So it's best to join the imam.
Question from online. Ahmed from Edmonton, AB, Canada. Salams, what are the Palestinians to do with the Jews trying to take Al-Aqsa.
Question says, what are the Palestinians to do for the Jews that are trying to take Aqsa? The Palestinians are to do what Allah and His Messenger told them to do and allowed them to do. And that is to defend their honor, defend their property, and to defend the sacred things of the religion to the best of their capabilities. That's what they should do. What Allah and His Rasul told them and allowed them to do. Whether it's recommended or mandatory with regards to standing up and defending and fighting for that which they should stand up, defend, and fight for, according to al-qadr al-mustata', what they have the ability to do. Wallahu alam. Type.
2 more minutes for that. That clock is passed.
What time? We're going to stop here. We're going to stick with the clock, inshallah.
We're okay with that clock, then what class we okay?
جزاكم الله خيرا. صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبي محمد.
Time for other.
بسم الله.